In our increasingly digital world, the line between convenience and control can feel blurry. Every new technology, every new system, brings with it a wave of questions about our privacy and our freedom. The debate around digital health certificates, often called vaccine passports, is a perfect example of this tension. On one side, there's a deep-seated fear of a big brother state, of permanent surveillance systems tracking our every move. On the other, there's the promise of a tool to help us navigate public health crises safely and reopen society. The conversation is often loud, filled with anxiety and misinformation. But what if we took a step back from the panic? What if, instead of reacting with fear, we armed ourselves with facts and demanded clear, transparent rules? This is not about being for or against a piece of technology. It's about understanding how it works, what the real risks are, and how we, as citizens, can ensure these tools serve the public good without compromising our fundamental rights. It's time to expose the fear versus the facts. Ready? Let's go. So, what exactly is a vaccine passport? At its core, it's a way to prove you've met a specific health requirement. In this case, vaccination against a virus. It's not a new concept. For decades, travelers have used the yellow International Certificate of Vaccination to prove they're protected against diseases like yellow fever before entering certain countries. The modern version simply digitizes this proof, usually in the form of a QR code on your smartphone. The primary purpose is to allow people to safely access certain high-risk venues like concerts, indoor restaurants, or international flights during a severe public health emergency. The goal is to reduce transmission in crowded settings, protecting both individuals and the broader community, and allowing businesses to remain open. It's crucial to understand that these are designed as temporary public health interventions. They are not intended to be permanent, all-purpose digital IDs. Their legal authority is tied directly to the state of the pandemic. As the public health risk subsides, so too should the requirement for health status verification. This brings us to a critical point: law and governance. The fear that these systems will become permanent tools of government control is a valid concern, which is why their legal framework is so important. Properly implemented vaccine certificate systems are not arbitrary decrees. They are tied to specific public health laws and emergency orders. These laws grant governments temporary, extraordinary powers to protect public safety during a crisis. A key feature of any well-drafted law in this area is a sunset clause. This is a provision that automatically terminates the program after a specific date, unless the legislature actively votes to extend it. This prevents temporary measures from becoming permanent by default. It forces a regular public review of whether the system is still necessary and proportionate to the health risk. Furthermore, robust governance requires independent oversight. This could be a dedicated privacy commissioner, an ombudsman, or a multi-stakeholder committee that monitors the system's operation, audits its effectiveness and privacy compliance, and provides a public forum for complaints and redress. Without these legal guardrails, clear legal authority, firm sunset clauses, and independent oversight, the risk of function creep and overreach becomes very real. These are not just technical details. They are the pillars of democratic accountability. Quick detour. If you like this video and the work we are doing, please subscribe to the channel to help us grow and cover more topics. Thank you. Now let's talk about the technology itself and the myth that these systems automatically give the government access to your entire medical history. The truth is that risk depends entirely on the design. A well-designed system is built on a principle called privacy by design, which embeds privacy protections into the technology from the very beginning. The most important concept here is data minimization. This means the system should only collect, use, and display the absolute minimum information necessary to perform its function. A proper system doesn't need to show your name, your date of birth, or what type of vaccine you received. It only needs to answer a simple binary question. Does this person meet the current health requirement? The answer should be a simple yes or no. The verifier at the door doesn't need to know anything else. This is often achieved through cryptographic signatures. your health provider issues a signed digital credential that your phone stores locally. When you present the QR code, the verifier app simply checks that the signature is valid and that the credential meets the rules, without your data ever being sent to a central server. This is a decentralized model. It avoids creating a massive, centralized database of everyone's health status and movements, which would be a prime target for hackers and a tool for surveillance. In contrast, a poorly designed system might require a constant internet connection to check a central government database every time you enter a venue. This creates a detailed log of your movements, linking your identity to specific times and places. This is where the surveillance risk lies, not in the concept of a health pass itself, but in a specific privacy-invasive implementation. Demanding a decentralized, data-minimizing design is one of the most effective ways to mitigate the risks. Technology and law are only part of the picture. A just system must also address equity and access. A common and legitimate criticism is that vaccine passport systems could discriminate against people who cannot or will not be vaccinated. This is a serious concern, and good policy must address it head-on. First, there must be clear, accessible exemptions for individuals who cannot be vaccinated for legitimate medical reasons. This is a non-negotiable component of any fair system. Many jurisdictions also include exemptions for sincerely held religious beliefs. Second, there must be viable alternatives. The most common alternative is providing proof of a recent negative test. This ensures that access to services is based on one's current health status, not just their vaccination history. It provides a pathway for everyone to participate in society. Third, we must address the digital divide. Not everyone has a smartphone or reliable internet access. Therefore, any system must provide an accessible and secure paper-based alternative that is easy to obtain and use. Finally, we must recognize and dismantle barriers to access. If a system requires testing, are the tests free and widely available? If it requires vaccination, is there paid time off for appointments and recovery? Is there transportation support? Are there outreach programs in multiple languages to build trust and answer questions? An equitable policy isn't just about the app, it's about the entire support system built around it to ensure no one is unfairly left behind. Looking around the world, we can see these principles in action, both for better and for worse. We don't need to guess what might happen. We can learn from real-world examples. In some regions, countries collaborated to create interoperable systems based on open standards and strong data protection laws. They focused on decentralized designs, where user data remained on the user's device. These systems were largely successful in facilitating travel and access to venues, and were then phased out as the epidemiological situation improved, demonstrating that sunset clauses can and do work. In other places, however, the rollout was more problematic. Some governments opted for centralized systems that collected vast amounts of data, leading to public backlash and legal challenges from privacy advocates. In a few cases, poorly secured apps led to data breaches, exposing sensitive personal information and eroding public trust. There were also significant challenges with equity, where the failure to provide free testing or accessible paper alternatives effectively excluded marginalized groups from public life. These case studies provide a crucial lesson. The devil is in the details. The technology itself is neutral. Its impact depends entirely on the policy choices, legal frameworks, and technical architecture that governments choose to implement. Success stories show us that it is possible to balance public health goals with privacy and equity. The failures serve as a stark warning of what happens when those principles are ignored. So, when you hear about a digital health pass being proposed in your area, what should you look for? How can you tell a well-designed system from a dangerous one? Here is a checklist of key principles to demand. First, transparency. Are the rules, the purpose, and the legal basis for the system published clearly and publicly? Second, a sunset clause. Is there a clear, legally binding end date for the program, requiring active legislative approval to continue it? Third, data minimization. Does the system only collect and display the absolute minimum information required? The answer it gives should be yes or no, not your life story. Fourth, a decentralized design. Does your data stay on your device, or is it being fed into a central government database that tracks your movements? Demand local control. Fifth, equity and alternatives. Are there clear exemptions? And is there a free and accessible alternative like testing and paper-based options? Sixth, independent oversight. Is there a watchdog like a privacy commissioner or ombudsman with the power to audit the system and hold the government accountable? And finally, a clear appeals process. If the system makes a mistake and wrongly denies you access, is there a simple, quick, and fair way to correct the error? If a proposed system ticks these boxes, it has likely been designed with care. If it fails on multiple points, it's time to raise your voice and demand better. The conversation about vaccine passports and digital identity is not going away. As technology becomes more integrated into our lives, we will face these questions again and again. The choice we face is not between a future of perfect safety and one of absolute freedom. It's about finding a sustainable balance. Panicking about a dystopian future is easy, but it's not productive. It seeds the ground to those who would rather not have a nuanced conversation. Apathy is just as dangerous, allowing poorly designed systems to be implemented without scrutiny. The more effective path is engaged citizenship. It means moving beyond the headlines, understanding the principles at stake, and asking pointed questions. It means demanding that any system that uses our data is transparent, accountable, temporary, and fair. Don't just worry about Big Brother. Instead, demand clear rules, robust oversight, and technology that serves people, not the other way around. The power to shape our digital future is not just in the hands of governments or tech companies, it's in our hands too. Let's use it wisely.